Hey guys, welcome back to Driver 88. I hope you're all well. Today we have yet another incredible car collection to look at, as well as a bit of F1 history. In particular, this Maserati 250F reproduction to the right of me. We're going to talk about this incredible car, its history, its drivers, as well as following the Ferrari Collector Oz journey that we started about 9 months ago when we started this channel. And talk about all the incredible cars that are not only up here, but in the 10-car garage downstairs. But first, we're going to talk about this Maserati 250F and some of the greatest drivers of all time that have sat behind the wheel of one of these race cars. Now, before we talk about this individual reproduction, let's just quickly go back to 1954 when the Maserati 250F first came into being. This is a car that has been raced by two of the greatest drivers of all time. One, Manuel Fangio, El Maestro, took this car to not only a number of wins, but also 2 drivers' championships. In one of those championships, he actually drove a Mercedes as well as a Maserati. If you could ever imagine that today, quite unbelievable. So Fangio won in one of these 250Fs, not only in Monaco, but also his home Grand Prix a further 2 times. And it is absolutely incredible to see on these extremely skinny wheels with drum brakes, the incredible control that it took near 70 years ago to keep this thing on the limit and be essentially completely open to the elements. Right in front of me here, an incredible screaming straight 6, 2.5 litres with 220 horsepower. Later in its life, it was actually housed a V12, but you can see here, the likes of Stirling Moss and Fangio were sitting on a fuel tank with a burning hot exhaust right next to them. It's just an incredible looking thing. When I look at this Maserati, I just think of a mixture of brutality and lack of safety, and also beauty at the same time. The Trident at the front just looks absolutely incredible, and it's interesting to see, of course, over a space of 70 years, how much Formula cars have changed, because of course, in 1954 and 56, Formula One wasn't always called that. It was a number of different iterations, but Formula Libre, I think, was one of them as well. And moving on to the next, arguably one of the greatest drivers of all time, of course, Sir Stirling Moss. So Stirling Moss not only raced one of these Maseratis to victory a number of times, but has actually driven in this car a number of times at Goodwood, as well as here in Melbourne, Australia, where he also won the 1956 Grand Prix here in Melbourne. So there's just so much connection with this car being here in the place where its siblings were raced, and of course with legends that have sat in it. So continuing on with Sir Stirling Moss's contributions in the 250F, not only did he win at Monza, but he also won the, as I said, the 1956 Grand Prix here in Melbourne, and broke the lap record at Albert Park, which I think was a time of 1:50. So truly awesome connection this car has with the city in which it now lays. Now, speaking about this particular model, this is a reproduction that was created in 1998 with a mixture of original parts as well as, I guess, purpose parts. So last but not least, the beautiful connection that this car has with Melbourne and the current owner, the Hunt family. Back in 1956, Reg Hunt drove one of these cars in the 56 Melbourne Grand Prix, and he sadly passed away at the grand age of 99 years old last year. And his grandson was able to allow him to see this reproduction and turn it on, and you could just imagine the beautiful connection with history and motorsport together in that moment. Hopefully I can show you a picture of that right now. So that is the 250F. Just incredible to see a bunch of new cars and old together. What I also like, if you're interested, the owner of this car also has just had taken delivery of a brand new bespoke F1 car. If you're interested in that, I'll put the link in the description. It's by Tour de Force. It's absolutely incredible, and it's amazing to see the technology change in the 60 or so years between this 250F and a TDF1. What we're going to do now is give you a look at the engine bay and take this thing off, and Tom and I are going to be as careful as we possibly can to show you the 2.5 litre straight six. And if you like, when we take this engine cover off, we'll give you a bit of an idea of the sound of this thing, because it has been driven by Sir Stirling Moss at the Goodwood Festival of Speed. So be careful. We're not finished just yet. The Ferrari Collector Oz has lots more cars to look at. As I said, we have got a 9-car garage downstairs. So I'm going to show you a few of those cars as well as the car next to me. Now, whilst we're at Ferrari Collector's place, you've got to have a GT Porsche, because we all know that's just what you have to do if you can have one. GT2 RS MR. This car is going to be joined by a GT3 RS, the brand new 992. I'll show you a picture of it now, and we're going to check that car out in the next month or so when it arrives. All right, let's head on downstairs. We've got a bunch more Ferraris to look at, the stuff of dreams. Let's head on down to the Batcave. So welcome to downstairs. We're going to indulge ourselves with the rest of the Ferraris in this collection. We're going to talk about a number of the other cars that aren't here and a number of cars that are coming, because there are some incredible cars that are coming to this collection that I cannot wait to film and show you guys. Of course, for daily duties, you need a GTC 4 Lusso in V12 configuration. One of our earlier videos, I said that this is a future classic, at least a modern classic, because the Puro Sangue is quite different, and this configuration is now lost to time. Of course, they don't make them anymore. Still sounds incredible. Next to that, a Pista Pilotti. Now, this is a special livery that was only offered to Ferrari customers who were part of their racing program. One cool little bit of information about these carbon wheels on the Pista Pilotti. There's also carbon wheels on the SF90 in this collection, I'm assuming, as well as the SF90 SV Aperta coming soon, or Spider. These wheels are actually created or made right here in Australia, in Victoria, the same state. So it's really, really cool that there's also that connection with the cars, and that has come from a company called Carbon Revolution, which makes these wheels for a number of different brands in carbon. Only 40. It also joins a challenge car in blue that looks quite incredible, that I'll show you now, as well as a 488 GT3 car, which is coming to the collection, I think, very soon. To the left of that, of course, the Ferrari F12 TDF, one of my favorite all-time cars from Ferrari. Not just the sound, but I think the subtle looks. Speaking of cars coming, an A12 Competizione Aperta is going to be joining this TDF in the collection, I'd say within a year's time. To the left of that, a extremely low kilometer Ferrari Enzo, which is a car that I was never really crazy about when I was growing up. But when you see this thing in the flesh under really, really good lighting, particularly the side profile, we did a full vlog on this car to the left of me earlier in the year. Just an absolutely incredible looking piece of machinery. To the left of that, a Ferrari Roma in a very individual spec, a beautiful car. And last but not least, coming to this collection and the channel soon will be one of the only Ferrari Daytonas to come to Australia. And I cannot wait to show you that car, because just the most unique styling I've seen for a very, very long time. I feel like a lot of brands really aren't at least with their normal cars, aren't really pushing the boundaries of style. And that is going to be a car I cannot wait to show you. So that's coming to the collection. If you're enjoying these videos, we're Driver 88. Please like this video and subscribe if you wish. We've got plenty more cars to show you, and we'll see you next time.